Hi everyone, Tracy Evans here. I thought I'd pop by and do a video showing the stamps from AALLandCreate. I thought you could get a better view if I actually did a video. So we'll begin with the new range, which is new range of border stamps. And these are fantastic, the size is brilliant. Absolutely wonderful for scrapbook layouts, mixed media, journals and cards. They're just brilliant because you can actually use part of the image or the whole image. I love this size. So we're going to start with a couple of designs from Casa Hazelden, as she's known online. And the first one is like a mixed background, and then we've got numbers as well. And if we just turn that over, you get an idea of size. And we've got the numbers here, which are brilliant because you can use them literally with your fingers as is and not use them on an acrylic block. And then we've got the nice lined ones as well, which are perfect again for adding another element to your background. So that one's from Casa. And then we've got another one from Casa. You can imagine Casa colouring this in loads of colours. Well, I can. If I turn it over again, you can imagine lots of colours on this from Casa. I will probably use this in a mixed media element as well, using part of the image or the whole image. But look at the size of that. That's my hand. If I put my hand by the side of it, you can see the size of that stamp. Absolutely brilliant size. I love these new ones. Then we're coming on to some designs from Bipasha, the very talented Bipasha. And this one's fabulous. I can imagine this on a steampunk kind of theme. And again, you could use part of the image. If you look here, you could use part. You don't have to use the whole image. You could use part here or the whole image. But the size of the image is absolutely fantastic. And there's so many little elements that you could use on their own as well. Just even the grid element you could use on their own. We have another one from Bipasha. This one has lots of numbers. Brilliant stamp. That would be great for a masculine card with the triangles and the angles. Really great stamp. Wonderful size again. And again, you could use parts of the image. You don't have to use the whole thing. So you could use it on cards, mixed media, or actually use it as is with your hand without an acrylic block and just stamp little bits of the image. And this one again is by Bipasha. She's been busy. And we have the hands here. I love the hands. They're just so lovely. And a great size as well. Lovely size. And we've got a splatter and a paint palette. Really lovely stamp by Bipasha. And then we've got these scissors. Now these are a fantastic size. Look at the size of those scissors. If you look at my hand, absolutely wonderful size. Look, I just love these border stamps. They're brilliant. And we've got the sewing machine and the needles and the scissors and the threads and the thimble. Again, you could use parts of the image as well, but that would just look fantastic on its own as a focal image, and that's just adding these elements in the background. Another stamp by Bipasha, and this stamp is also by Bipasha. You can recognise her style. She uses the paint brushes here. These would be brilliant. Oh, these are perfect for crafters anyway, aren't they? If you've got any fellow crafters or artists, you could make a great card with those. Again, if I turn that over so you can see the size of the stamp. Wonderful details on the stamps, and I have to say I've been testing mine and they stamp beautifully. These two stamps are by little old me, as you can tell by my doodles, and I was thinking that these could be used in the background with one of my focal images on the foreground. So use this in a light layer and then use my focal image in a dark layer. And this, I would just use this on anything. Cards, layouts, just that little added extra little detail to put in the background. And if I turn those over, you can see the size. Fantastic. And I love this little heart. I love hearts because I like using them in my designs anyway. And I like little stamps that are fillers, little fillers in designs. And that was my idea for these stamps. You can add little parts of it. So you could add parts of the arrows here alone, just in the background in the design. These border stamps are going to become one of my favourites because I just love the size of them. And then this is another one of my stamps. I've actually opened this one because I'm actually working on a sample at the moment. And I've used some circles and some arrows, but I didn't want them to be really rigid geometric stamped images. I want them to look more sort of scribbly. So I've opened this stamp, and as you can see here, the size of the stamp, and they stamp beautifully, and these just work brilliantly in a mixed media background. And if you're always stuck for something to add in the background or in the foreground, this could be a foreground image, but I love adding these in the background when I just need that little detail. And then we're moving on to our A6 size stamps, the ones that we're well known for, the size we're well known for. And I'll just move these to the side and bring them in. So this one is by Pasha, and these scissors coordinate with the bigger size scissors, so you could stamp those together, and so do these images, so you could coordinate them. I'm hoping Ab will let me have some of my flowers in some of the bigger sizes. That would be wonderful. You never know, I can keep begging. But literally these coordinate with the other ones as well. Lovely designs from Pasha. So they'll both work beautifully together. And then these alphabets are by Pasha, like an old vintage typewriter. If I turn those over, lovely size. And you could actually use that as a whole, or you could use and make your own sentiments up. And there are some sentiments on there for you as well. Live your art, therapy, artist, designed by, simple things and art. Some lovely sentiments on there, and I love the font. And then to coordinate with that, if I just bring this one in, we've got the numbers and some other sentiments as well. And those numbers coordinate beautifully with the alphabet ones. They work so lovely together. I haven't opened them yet, but they're going to be inked soon. Then we've got some designs by the lovely Olga. And she's getting a bit of a trademark now for her monsters, and she creates these little fun facial expressions that go on the monsters. And if I turn those over, you can see the sizes, but I just love his little fingers. Oh, just a double. So you can add these faces to the monsters, but she also did a cat design in the last series, and you could add those expressions as well to the monsters. And she's got these brilliant hats and moustaches. You could have some great fun with these. Wonderful. And Olga's actually done a video that's on the AALLandCreate webpage. She's done a video of how to create some cards with these. So if you've got time, if you could pop along, there's some great inspiration there. And then another one by Olga. We've got the pandas and the badgers and the rabbits and the elephants. That rabbit is lovely. Quite quirky styles, and I love the font as well. They're quirky, but they're not the cute quirky, which is what I like. So those are great fun, and some nice fonts as well, and some little party hats for them. But you could mix and match these stamp sets, so they'd work beautifully together. And then something completely different from Olga. We've got this wicked set with a crow, or it could be a raven, on there. And look at the size of that stamp. That is just wonderful. And there's a little scene here as well, which would work really well. And I'm loving these smaller fonts, because these smaller sentiments you can add as details inside stamped images as well, so they work really well. So that's a lovely stamp set by Olga. I'm quite looking forward to using that crow. And then this is another stamp set designed by Olga. She's done some backgrounds this time, so they coordinate with all her other stamps really. You could mix and blend those together. And if we turn those over, you can see those together. So those would work beautifully with with every single one of the other stamps. I think that's what I like about the range. We all work separately on our designs, but then we all come together and look at what we've designed and how they work together, and they all work beautifully. And then we have another set by Olga, which is these houses. These would be great in vintage tones or in really bright colours. I can imagine Casa doing something in really bright colours with that. And if we turn that over, you can see the sizes, the wonderful sizes of the houses, little trees. It's a lovely set. Great detail on there as well. And then we've got a couple of stamp sets by Fiona, and I think she had the same idea as me, doing some quirky flowers, and these are really funky and work really well. And I like the little details as well, you know, like the circles and the swirls, And we've got a couple of lovely sentiments as well. If I turn that over, you can see those styles. They're lovely. I like the scribbly kind of designs, you know, sort of really quirky. And those would be great coloured in as well, using your markers or your inks and paints. So I'm sure we'll see some fun designs from Fiona with those soon. We have another one from Fiona, so they both coordinate nicely together. If I turn that over, this would work lovely in the foreground or the background, and then having this as the focal image, and this as a good filler, as I call them, where you could add them in the backgrounds. And some lovely sentiments. The font's a really nice font as well. So those work really lovely together. And that's another set by the talented Fiona Partridge. And we'll see some designs with those as soon as Fiona gets the stamps. And then we have another new designer along with Cassie, Ada. And Ada's created these stamps, which I love. Look at those. This stamp here, this background stamp is lovely. It's got words inside. Live, be. So they work really lovely. And I love the bee. That's lovely in this. Like clock. Fly away. Just lovely. You know, I used to blow those when I was a child. And now the name's gone out of my head. But those are lovely. Dandelion. Like a dandelion clock. And some lovely sentiments on those as well. I really like those. Can't wait to use those. Those are by Ada. And Ada's done another stamp set as well. And this time, some backgrounds. We all love our backgrounds so that we can coordinate them with all our other stamp sets. Some lovely sentiments. And I love this arrow here. And I love these little details. The little details that add to the overall design. And this as well. The believe. With a little bit of scribble. Really lovely. Can you tell I like these stamps? And then we've got another new designer, which is Cassie, and you've seen some of Cassie's border stamps. Well, Cassie's done her, using her style. Lovely background stamp here, but this could be a focal image on its own or in the background, but you could have that as a focal image on its own. And Cassie, if you go to Cassie's Facebook page, she's done some wonderful, colourful designs with this stamp set. And again, you could use part of the image, you don't have to use the whole thing. And then we've got some lovely add-on elements, as I call them, that you can use in the background. And Cassie will be using those more in the future, but she has got some posts on her Facebook page. We've got another one from Cassie, and if we turn the stamp over, we've got the feather, and look, the lovely. Look at the size of that. Absolutely gorgeous size. And again, Cassie has coloured this image in and put the image on Facebook if you want to take a look there. And she's coloured it beautifully. But it's a lovely size, that is. Really nice size to work with. If we turn that over so you can see both the size. The two feathers would work on their own as well, or in the background. And I love the little add-on, the little hat and the little crown. They work brilliantly. And then we've got another one from Cassie with a parrot. And look at the size of that. He's lovely. And again, Cassie has coloured him in and added it to her Facebook page if you want to take a look there. And we've got a lovely hat. This hat and some of these add-on elements would also work with Olga's stamps, with her monster stamps. So the add-ons are always great to have because they mix and match with all the other stamps as well. So he's a cool dude, isn't he? I love his shoes, his trainers. They're so cool. They're lovely. And then we've got another stamp set by Cassie. This little chicken here, or whatever you want. Look, he's got a ballet dancer. She's got little ballet shoes on. Look at them little ballet shoes there. And we've got some lovely add-ons, but those ballet shoes would work perfectly on their own. If you've got a little girl doing any ballet lessons, they'd work perfectly on their own, just as the focal image. And then you could add them in the background if you like, with the focal image. Another lovely stamp set from Cassie. So pop by Cassie's Facebook page. We will all have some posts for you on Facebook. And these are my stamps, designed by little old me. And if you don't know my style, I like to add lots of layers to my designs. And the idea with these is that I've got a focal image, but maybe a focal image that I can add elements inside. That's the idea behind the butterfly. So if I bring my stamp set in, I'm actually using this at the moment. And if I just take that stamp set off, you can see here, you've got open areas. And the idea behind that is that you can add some of these very tiny sentiments inside the butterfly so that it adds just an extra tiny little detail. And I love my scribbly designs. You know, I'm not a drawer by trade or anything. It's just these are my doodles, and it's lovely to see my doodles come to life in a set of stamps, and then to actually use them in my artwork is such a thrill. It really does give me a buzz. So if I turn those over there, you can see the stamp designs clearly. And I've actually made a piece of art, so I'll bring that artwork in because I've used it with this stamp set. Just to show that you can actually use these in a mixed media style. It doesn't have to be cute, it doesn't have to be coloured in. I mean, obviously, I'm going to make some designs that way, but I wanted to make my first piece in a mixed media style. So I've used some of Seth Apter's baked texture, and this is the, do you know, my words are going, oh dear. But I've used this baked texture on the butterfly here, and I've used it here as well. And I've literally layered the baked texture in a little cake tin, melted it, and then I've stamped my image into it. And I've used it here as well on the wings. So I'm quite pleased with that. It's a bit like, I'm trying to think what it's like now. My mind have all gone. I'm trying to reach for the baked textures so that you know what it is. The one that I've used. Beeswax. Could I get that word out? Beeswax. So I've stamped into beeswax here, and I've added beeswax onto the wings here, and it gives a lovely aged feel. And I've added my little tiny sentiment that says butterfly to the wings here. I love the tiny little details. And then I've used my border stamp down the edges here and here, which is what I was saying about add-ons, the way they work in the background, and they add that extra little detail to the design. I'm quite pleased with how this piece turned out. It's so textural, and there's movement. I love it. So that just gives you an idea of how to use the stamps in a mixed media element, and the designers will be popping by with Facebook and blog posts and Instagram just to show you some of their designs further. So if we move on to my next stamp set, this is my Scribbly Flowers, as I call them, and I just love that AB let me have these, and I'm hoping if I beg nicely that I can get these into the bigger size as well. We'll see. But I just love these stamps and the little sentiments as well, and they stamp so clearly. So I'll have some designs with those, and I love adding these little doodles and scribbles. Just adds an extra little element to them. I should have some designs with them. Hoping to make some clean and simple cards, but also some mixed media cards with those as well, just to show you lots of different designs with those. I'm really pleased with how those have come out. And then my final stamp set, it had to be some hearts. I love hearts. I love using them in my artwork. The idea is that they're hearts with stems, so they're like a heart flower. That's how I'm going to use them. And I've just used a lot of scribbly elements with them. Lovely sentiments: follow your heart, embrace imperfection, because, you know, none of us are perfect, and I just love that sentiment. And I think we should embrace imperfection in our art and everything as well. So there's another stamp set. We've got some lovely background elements as well, just add-on elements that you can add in the background, and these could be your focal images. And also you could use these with some of Bipasha's monsters as well. So I'm quite looking forward to mixing and matching some of the stamp sets. So I hope you've enjoyed this little quick peek at some of the stamp sets, and we will all be popping by with some designs for you. And Autour de Moi, or AB, will be on Hochanda on Monday, this Monday coming. You'll be on her channel showcasing some of the stamp sets. We've got 3 shows coming up, so we're actually splitting the stamp sets up. So there'll be one set of stamps shown on Monday, and then the next set of stamps shown on further shows at a later date. So watch out for those. So that's on Monday coming. And then on Sunday, this Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday, we're at Stitchies, the CHSI show. We're there with a stand, and hopefully myself and Casa will be going. So if you're actually going to the show, pop along and say hi. We'll just be supporting Ab and showing our stamp designs and showing our love for the All and Create. If you'd like to see these in more detail, you can go to the All and Create website, and we've got all our stockists listed there. Some of the stockists should have these designs now, and I list the stockists on all my Facebook pages, and I always put a link there. So the stockists will have these first before we have these on the All and Create website. So if you can support our stockists, we'll really appreciate that. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.